Well, hey everybody, Martika here with Martika J Makes. Welcome. So today we are kind of having a let's talk session, okay? I'll be doing these periodically on subjects that we just talk about. And to let you know where I'm coming from, today I want to just talk about sewing, where I got my love for sewing from. And at the end of this, I want to hear from you all too. So, sewing for me, I was introduced to sewing when I was a little girl, to be honest with you. My mother used to get some of my outfits sewn by a lady who sold some of the cutest outfits, some that I really wish that we would have kept as like little keepsakes, but you didn't think about that then. I do remember having like this really cute little polyester pantsuit. It was printed. I remember wearing it to like an event that we had at our school. I was like in kindergarten or first grade, but I remember that very clearly, and I remember that being made just for me. So fast forward to getting older, I was in junior high, and sewing was an option to be able to learn how to do. That was back when home ec was a class in school, you guys. Do you remember those days where they taught us the basics of keeping the home, like cleaning and cooking and ironing and washing and sewing and just things like that, things that was essential to everyday life even now. I remember taking up sewing, and after learning how to thread my machine, we learned how to sew in a straight line and all of that great stuff. And the first thing that I ever sewed was a pillow. If back then that was the first thing that everybody pretty much sewed, because it was the easiest things you had. 4 straight lines, you know, and then you pivoted at your corners, of course, and then you learn how to hand sew because you had to stitch the opening after filling in that pillow. I believe that my pillow might have been a Care Bear pillow. That's when Care Bears was really popular. There was like Muppet Babies and Care Bear and Strawberry Shortcake. Those are the people that was out then, okay, that had our interest. And I remember doing that, and I thought that it was so much fun to do. But of course, you know, we didn't have a sewing machine at home. So it was just something I kind of learned how to do and just left at school. But moving on, when I got in high school, there was a sewing class that was offered that I was able to take, just a sewing class. And I was like, oh, I could learn how to sew something that I could wear for myself. And so I learned my first thing that I sewed. I remember it being, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was a black dress. I remember it being black. Yeah, I think it was a dress. And I might have worn that dress maybe once. I was brave enough to wear it. But one thing that I was really excited about back then sewing was a pair of Jams. If you guys remember Jams, the printed shorts and different colors and different patterns. Well, I remember this fabric that I picked up. It was a white background and it had yellow flowers on it with like black accents on the flowers. So I love those 3 colors together. It was really a cute pattern. It was big flowers too. And I was like, oh, these would make the perfect pair of Jams. And I was gonna go and get these yellow shoes to match. Back then we were matchy a lot of the times, but a lot of the times we were clashy too. But this, I knew that I wanted it to match. And so I made those shorts. They were elastic waist, and they turned out really cute. It was the first time I had done pockets, and they were really cute. I think that I may have worn them very quickly once, but I had a phobia of wearing my own clothes, you guys. I really did. I had this thing going on in my mind that whatever I made was going to fall apart while I was wearing it, okay? So it was just something in my mind because we all went shopping, and just wearing your own makes back then wasn't very popular. And we had stores back then too that was really affordable. If you all remember stores like 579 and Ups and Downs, and we would hit the aisles like the clearance racks and JC Penney's and Dillard's. And I mean, you guys, we're talking about back then, it was really clearance. We're talking about $2, $3. It was really clearance items. So we did a lot of shopping back then. So wearing something that I made, I remember feeling that satisfaction of actually completing something, but to wear it, that was a whole different department. Okay. So moving on, I remembered I always had fun, taking that sewing class, but after the sewing class was over, I did not pursue it any further until I became a full-grown adult. I was married and I was in the medical field and I was buying scrubs, okay? And that's when a lot of the places that you would go, medical facilities, the scrubs would be these really cute prints. They might be cartoon characters, they might be florals, whatever. Well, these things were pretty expensive too. And I looked at the make of the scrub itself. I said, this is a front, a back, and a pocket. And that's if you want the pockets on there. I said, I could really go and pick up a pattern and make these myself. That's when I decided to go ahead and purchase a very inexpensive machine. That's when we had a Hancock Fabric. And I went and purchased my machine. And I also purchased fabric. And I purchased the pattern. And I made a few scrub tops out of that pattern. During this time, my daughter, I think she might have been in junior high. And I remember showing her the basics of sewing, just, how to thread the machine, how to sew a little bit. I remember her asking me, was it fun? And it was fun, but I was doing it at that point, not really getting into the love of it again, but in order to be able to wear something cute and save money. And what I really loved, you guys, is that when I wore the tops that I made to work, I got so many compliments, not just from the people I work with, but from the patients too. Every single time I wore a scrub top that I made, it was tons of compliments because nobody was able to go to the store and pick it up. And they would ask, where'd you get that from? And I say, I made it. So that was a lot of satisfaction in that. So as far as like fashion and things like that, I've always, loved that. Simple fashions for me. But I still just kept shopping for them. I love shopping on the clearance racks, when I did do a lot of shopping and things like that. But I came across Mimi G Sew It Academy. And I'm going to be honest with you, I can't even remember how I came across it, but I did. And I decided to go ahead and do the free trial. And that was about 4 years ago, maybe 4 to 5 years ago. It was before the pandemic. And I went on ahead and I started taking it. And when I started it as if I knew nothing. I went through all of the exercises and everything. I said, well, you know what? I really do enjoy sewing. I want to up my skills some. So maybe through this Sew It Academy, I can learn how to, get even better at it and maybe wear some things that I actually sew. Well, you guys, here we are today, and I have not stopped yet. I absolutely love sewing my own pieces. There are times when I do lose my sojo, as we call it. There are times when I literally do not feel like sewing. And that happens. That happens with all of us who sew a lot. I mean, you get burnt out with just about anything that you do, even things that you have a really deep love and passion for, you just get burnt out. And that's when you know that you have to kind of step away, take a little break, maybe work on something else. That's when I might start, doing like some crocheting or something like that, and just do something different for a little bit, read a book and all of that until I feel my sojo coming back and I feel like I want to do something else. So, or get back to sewing. So, yeah, like I said, I am really, really in love with my sewing. It is like therapy for me, big time. I truly enjoy being in my happy place with it, because it's where my mind can really escape, from the chaos and the noise of the world. And I can just take my hands and create. And that is what I love the most about it. So that is my sewing story, you guys, and I would love to hear yours. Tell me in the comments, where did you get your love for sewing from? Are you new to it? What do you think about it? Do you wear your own makes? I definitely do now, without a problem. I wear my makes. So do you wear your own? Are you scared to? I would love to hear a little bit about you. So share with me in the comments, and I will talk to you really soon in the next video. Have a great one, you guys. Bye-bye.